This video is an introduction to using the CloudRF API for non-technical users. So if you're not a developer, but you might work with this radio data, this will give you just enough that you can process a spreadsheet of data through the API. To use the tools, you need to go to github.com and fetch the CloudRF API clients from the CloudRF repository. So if you go here, click code and then download zip, and you've now downloaded a zip archive containing all of the code examples that we're going to be using today. It's quite large because some of the files are fairly substantial. Okay, we've unzipped that. I'm just going to extract it here in my downloads folder. And here I've got the folder with the clients in. Now there's examples here for different languages. We've got web-based maps, we've got Python scripts, Bash scripts, but we're using Windows and we just want to do a simple test with a small spreadsheet. So we open up the Windows folder and in here we have some executables. Now a word of warning, Windows Defender has been reported to flag these as suspicious because they contain networking code for communicating with the API. If that happens, you need to go to Windows Defender and tell it that it's not suspicious and to stop worrying about it. Okay, I need to open up a console here, so I'm holding down Shift and right click and open a PowerShell window on Windows 10. I'm just going to maximize this so we can see what we're doing. And in here now, I'm going to go ahead and just type dir just to see what I've got. The first application I'm going to use is area.exe, which is a point-to-multipoint if you want to make a heat map. So I'm just going to go ahead and have a look at the instructions for this. And if you do /?, you can see all the different options for this. Now this API takes in formatted data in a comma separated value format here. And we also are defining a template which is drone.json. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in both parameters as -i for free sites and then -t for the drone. So what we're doing here is we're modeling a drone with the same parameters but at 3 distinct sites. When I hit enter, that's going off to the API using default test credentials because I haven't set it up with a key. We'll get onto that shortly. And it's done. It processed all 3. It's given us unique links there where we can get our KMZ files. It's also downloaded KMZ files to a folder here. So I can actually go and prove that they are there. So if I go into the Windows folder, there's a data folder in here, open up data, and we've got 3 KMZ files. And I'm just going to click one of those, and sure enough, there's a point-to-multipoint on the island of Ibiza. So that was nice and easy. A small question of authentication. Now that I've proved it on Ibiza, I want to take it away. And the way you put in your API key is in the cloudrf.ini file. So this little text file contains some parameters for the API. That's where we put the key in there. So key equals, you'll find your key and it's unique on the home page when you log in at CloudRF. If you've got your own server, if you've bought a Keyhole Radio or Soothsayer, you can just put in your address there and you can pull on your own server instead of the public service here. And this directory, that's just the local directory where we're saving all the files. Now the data that we're using, 3 sites, you see it's quite simple. It's literally just the location of the site. So the latitude, the longitude, the altitude, and if we were doing a link, we would also be defining the receiver end of the link. So the latitude, the longitude, the altitude. The name of the site and the network. So the 3 names here were 10 meters, 20 meters, and 30 meters, which you probably saw in the KMZ file names. And these all belong to the network API test. Now we can take this principle and now go and do a a link. So let's go and look at the link code, and you notice it's quite similar. So this time I'm going to test a link, and it's going to be a drone again. Different output this time. So one test because it's one link, only now what we've received is raw API output with lots and lots of metadata, a URL to an image, so we can go ahead and get an image. It also downloaded that image. So let's go ahead and have a look at what it downloaded. And I see I've got a PNG image in a folder here. And if I open that, I'm looking at a profile of that link with the terrain and the 3D buildings on the terrain and the metadata in there ready to drop into a report. And you've also got all the data that was used to generate that profile in there. Now if I want to go and have a look at what was actually in that CSV file, you see again, not a lot of information. It's very lightweight, only now we've defined the receiver location as well. And we were using the same drone template. So if we go and have a look at what's in that drone template, you'll see this is where we've actually got the JSON object that goes up to the API, and the name fields here in the object correspond to the column names in the CSV file. So if you have variables that are changing, such as location, they will go in the spreadsheet. If you have constants that are the same, such as a frequency, that will go in the template in the JSON. And if you want, you can override all of them. So you could override all these fixed values here and just put every single value into the spreadsheet. And we've got an option for that, and it's called custom.json. And in custom.json, you can override most of the values there and just put them all into a spreadsheet and define whatever names you would like.